Hey, what's up? Me again. I'm Mitchell Saltzman, and this is episode 2 of IGN's Road to Evo Diary. Yeah, that's right. Check out that cool little graphic. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of those those photo shoot pictures. If you missed the first episode, go ahead and check that out. Long story short, I'm going to be competing in Guilty Gear Strive at Evo this year, and I kind of wanted to just chronicle the journey of getting yourself ready to compete at Evo, and also just what happens on the show floor. On the first episode, I got a coach. He gave me some really good advice that helped me hit the top level of Guilty Gear Strive, the Celestial level, and put me in a better position to hit my goal at Evo of making it out of pools. He also left me with some homework.
Join an online tournament. The whole goal of like a training regimen for Evo is to get practice similar to Evo, right? And the online tournament's gonna be like the closest thing you can get, right?
And so, with that, I entered Tampa Never Sleeps, a premier online fighting game tournament with top players that regularly compete, like Umisho, Marvello, and SQ, just to name a few. My hopes weren't grand. Really, I just wanted to get some extra tournament experience under my belt, feel what that pressure feels like, and it sure would be great if I didn't go 0-2 and get knocked out of the tournament right away. So, the good news is that I accomplished 2 of those goals. Yeah, I went 0-2, and that's really what I wanted to focus this episode of this diary on. What do you do if you go home from a tournament without winning a single set? And how can you turn that negative into something that at the very least you can learn from? So let's hit that title card. I went 0-2 at a fighting game tournament, and how I learned from it. One thing that you'll always hear from professional fighting game players is the importance of watching your matches back, so you can learn from your mistakes. I tried doing that, and while I was able to point out some pretty obvious mistakes, one thing that I think is a common thing that happens throughout this matchup is that I do a full screen cannon drill, and it gets 6 speed. It definitely felt like I was missing a core element of what specifically to look for, and how to turn that knowledge that I gain into something actionable that I can actually work on. So I took another one of Diaphone's suggestions.
You should try to find a coach that plays Geo as well, because I can give you a lot of like the basics and whatnot. But I think if you really want to refine your gameplay before Evo, I think a lot of it is going to be like getting tighter offensive sequences and learning different ways to like capitalize off your knockdowns, because I think you're getting the knockdowns. It's just like you gotta capitalize on a little bit more.
Enter Smuggles, a competitive fighting game player who is a Giovanna specialist, and someone that I was already following on Twitter due to the fact that he regularly posts some of the best Giovanna tech I've seen on the platform. I booked him for an hour coaching session through his Metafy, which you can find in the description of the video if you're interested for yourself, and it was an eye-opening experience in numerous ways. Smuggles' approach to coaching was to pose questions to me to get me thinking about why I made certain decisions in the moment, and on a grander level, why I won or lost a particular match. Things like why I chose a specific option on round start, why I chose to spend my meter a certain way, and why, when I successfully burst, do I keep doing drill despite always getting punished for it.
Alright, you get a gold burst. Now you got 100 meter. And what do you do immediately after you burst? You do dash 236k. And then get hit for it.
6 speed.
Alright, and then you burst. So what do you do after you burst? Look at that!
Look at that.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I have a habit. A lot of these questions I didn't really have answers for, but that's an important thing to know by itself, because that's a knowledge gap, and when there's a knowledge gap, I become the person on the other end of that situation that Diaphone was describing to me last time.
Always assume your opponent's an idiot until they prove otherwise, right?
So Smuggles really drilled into me the importance of looking for those spots where I don't know what to do, and then writing them down so that I can try to figure out an answer.
And now you're in the corner here. This would be another micro question. This specific combo that the Milia does, where they end in 6H air hit into the dash into this guy, you could be like, okay, what can Milia do here? Because if you have no idea, you're just gonna get mixed so hard.
Yeah. Where Smuggles was also invaluable was learning about the character-specific situations where I was leaving both damage and advantageous positions on the table. Specifically, I wasn't converting a hard knockdown off of my 6P and canceling it into Giovanna Sepultura roundhouse kick, which typically would look like this. I'd be able to dash up, hit them on the ground, and continue my offense safely. After going through the whole round, Smuggles would then play the round back again without stopping and ask me why I lost, which was a really helpful way of getting me to understand my weaknesses and how I can go about correcting them.
So I think 3 misconversions of 6P, which led, every time I got out of the mix, I wasn't able to start my game plan. So that was, one bad thing. The other bad thing was after getting the successful gold burst, I immediately had my momentum halted and got put in the corner. And I think the third thing is just, in general, not knowing the ways to deal with Milia's corner mix.
Yeah.
One of the main common problems that Smuggles noticed about my play was that I did not use my meter well.
Here we go, back in the winning position. That was not a great option to use your meter on. And then, yeah, it's just like you're using your meter on something that doesn't work, and then you take a big risk. So it's like, you want to flip, as stupid as it sounds, and it's like easier said than done, you want to flip that of picking the options that do work and not taking the risks.
And going back through these replays and this whole lesson, it made me realize that my offense with Gio was fairly one-dimensional. Basically, the hits that I was landing were either stray hits in neutral that led to me getting my offense started, or frame traps off of my main block string, but that was kind of it. My meter was only really used to predictably extend my pressure, to yellow RC, or just for my overdrive.
So, Smuggles taught me some new ways to use my meter to mix up my opponents, and it reminded me of a very important mechanic that I completely forgot about. I completely forgot that fast Roman cancels refunded a quarter of your meter on hit. It was an update that was added to Strive in the patch, and I think I tried to incorporate it when it first became a thing, but when I stopped playing for a bit, that knowledge just kinda left my brain.
Another really good one, especially when you're in the corner and you've dealt a little bit of damage, you do fast RC overhead versus fast RC low. It hits people all the time, This is a very solid option to do. And then you still get Oki, and you have these, and all of a sudden, oh, look at that. I have more meter because of the fast RC.
We only had time during the hour-long session to go over my Milia matches, but armed with that knowledge, I was able to watch over my matches in the second set that I lost in the tournament, and was able to find more actionable items. All in all, after spending some time working on the combos that Smuggles taught me, working my PC account up to Celestial level as well, I'm feeling pretty decent going into this last week before Evo. Going 0-2 at TNS definitely stung, but the lessons that I gained from it were well worth the experience.
And with that, we're a week away from Evo. My next video is going to be from the show floor itself, and we'll see if I'm actually able to accomplish my goal of making it out of pools. If you've been watching these videos, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and yeah, I'll see you at Evo. Bye-bye.